for that, I would like to invite our first speaker, Mr. Agnelorajesh Athaide. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is an author, social entrepreneur, educator and business mentor. He is a firm believer in the philosophy of learn, earn and return. Wow, isn't that amazing? He serves as the chairman of the Global St. Angelo's Group of Enterprises, which has offices in several locations worldwide. Business opportunities, club starts education and educational technology, real estate development, restaurants and hospitality, e-commerce and an EdTech's online platform and business mentoring. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me with a huge round of applause in welcoming Mr. Athaide.
Good afternoon, friends. This is the most difficult slot for a presentation. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed a very elaborate lunch. Even then, I would like to make it interesting and exciting. And the topic is also something which I love. The objectives of diversification. So, we are on Tajurba platform today and I would love to say, Jahan na pahunche Ravi, wahan pahunche Kavi. Ravi is Suryo ke kirne. Jahan na pahunche Ravi, wahan pahunche Kavi. Aur jahan na pahunche Kavi, wahan pahunche Anubhavi. Tajurba is nothing but the Anubhav that we have or that we experience and share in life, and that's what today's topic is going to be about, how objectives of diversification can be helpful. So, if I can request the next slide. The introduction was already done, so you can go to the next slide, please. Friends, diversification is something which is very interesting and exciting. और हमको ये आदत है. We have been used to listening to the statement कि focus किया करो, एक ही business किया करो, dive deep into that business and things will change for you. But unfortunately, for many people, including to me, diversification is one of the safest and the best methodologies to keep your establishments and keep growing vertically and positively. I will explain that why and how. Very shortly I would love to explain that, but diversification is a very interesting process. We all have witnessed that the last 2 years the economy has seen different changes around ourselves, whether it was with the pandemic or whether it is the current challenges in some parts of the world where there is violence happening as we speak. The pandemic taught us some very critical facts that the world is divided into 3 elements. The top 33% of the businesses flourished and multiplied. The middle 33% of the businesses were almost break even. And there was a segment on the bottom 33% of the businesses which evaporated and vanished due to the pandemic. People who are dependent on businesses where you needed to interact with people, meet with people, greet with people, talk with people and do business, that was a stalemate for the last almost 24 months. So what happened? Many people from that bottom 33% of the businesses, some of them were intelligent. They realized that today they are at a business which has got no scope because of the changed scenario and the environment, but they were rich with tajurba, that is experience. They were having an infrastructure in place. They were having the good luck of having customers that they would have serviced for the last couple of years or decades. And they were having the business know-how of how business needs to be done. Friends, I always believe in one thing in life, that it is very important of what business you do, but what is more important to understand is how you do the business that you do. And those are the people who switched over from the businesses which were not doing well to businesses that they could support. And whom did they find? They collaborated and they connected with the people who are on the top 33% of the businesses which were flourishing because of the change scenario. And that's what is meant by diversification. I would like to go to the next slide. The objectives to diversify. Now this is a very critical element. This is a very critical slide. If you read the slide, to increase companies' revenue by leveraging the existing resources, brand recognition and customer base, to enable entrepreneurs to invest in more than one product and market and thereby reducing companies' risk, to remain profitable during industry ups and downs as a society or the economy or the fluctuation in the customer's behavior, and to maximize your company's current resources which may be underutilized. Coincidentally, every organization that is functioning across the world never has the optimum utilization of resources at their disposal. The pandemic also taught us one golden rule, friends, and that golden rule was you need a lot of resources to do business, but you need not own all those resources. If you want to tap into resources that you need but you can't own, because if you try to own them, it defeats the purpose of the optimum investments that need to be happening in a business. You need to leverage those resources even if you don't own them. And then the word collaborative working, the word collaboration took a very important stage, center stage in the lives of too many people. There were people who were mastering the art of collaboration even before the pandemic, but today a lot of people have realized that you need to be a lean company so that your objectives of achieving profits are achieved, not by overburdening your operating costs, but making sure that incidental expenses should be in your control, but expansion expenses, if you can leverage with other entrepreneurs, probably you will be able to reach a better profitability. Diversification is something where you are going to be leveraging your existing resources and ensuring that you are going to capture a larger market share. It can be forward integration, it can be backward integration, or it can be a new business model altogether. Friends, my objective of this interaction with you is something different. It's not going to be a monologue where I would like to give gyan, but it has to be a dialogue where you can ask me questions which I can answer. But before I reach to that, I would like to tell you, diversification is the power which has empowered too many entrepreneurs to become large business houses, and that I would like to explain with the next slide. So friends, we are all very well accustomed to these particular organizations, whether it is Tata Group, whether it is Reliance Industries, or whether it is Mahindra and Mahindra. Now what do all these brands teach you? All these brands have taught us that do one line of business, earn the trust of the customers, give them extraordinary after sales service, create a captive base of customer base, make sure that these people have the best investment in you, and that best investment is the trust that they can have in you. And then these organizations leveraged that customer base, leveraged that trust quotient, and opened up new ventures which made them large enterprises, deploying more people working for them, making the economy stronger, and empowering the individual of the nation to either become a customer or a vendor or an employee or a part of the organization, even in the form of a shareholder. So these three brands, Tata Group, Reliance Industries, Mahindra, have exactly done that. Tata namak bhi bechta hai, steel bhi bechta hai, gaadi bhi bechta hai, ghar bhi bechta hai. They are giving you IT services. They are giving you absolutely everything that you would need in your personal and professional needs, and that's what even Reliance has done. A few days back, I was sitting with a very dear friend, and I was very surprised to know, I'm sure 99% of the people in this room might not know what I'm going to say next. I was very surprised to know when this friend of mine told me that if you have even one share of Reliance Limited, you get a 20% discount at the Harkishan Das Hospital, which is operated by Reliance Industries. Now, isn't that fabulous? You might have only one share, which is valued at around 2,500 rupees. You might have a medical bill of 3 lakhs, and you save 60,000 rupees. Against an investment of 2,500, you have saved 60,000 rupees. What does this mean? This means that these entrepreneurs are brilliant people who have strategized their business in such a way where they do value creation for an individual directly or indirectly. So even by being one shareholder, you can leverage those aspects. So whether it is Tata, whether it is Reliance or Mahindra, Mahindra is today giving you houses, it is giving you holiday homes. Now all these enterprises have taught you that they are stable irrespective of the scenario in the economy, irrespective of the scenario in the global segments, purely because if they have got 100 business verticals, even if some of them are not doing well, there are some other businesses which are doing better than the average, and some more businesses which are doing extraordinary businesses, and the profits of the good enterprises are supporting the profits or the losses of the enterprises which have gone low or the negative mark because of a change scenario. All this happens because of diversification. So what we learn from this is what we have implemented in my company, that is Global St. Angelo's. I speak about diversification because I am a firm believer. So when we saw or when we interacted or when we heard the conversation of the Swami Maharaj who spoke in the first half of the session, we realized that they could achieve a development of a project which would have taken 35 years in a span of just 5 years. And that was possible not by having followers to his particular segment, but having believers. When you have your customers who believe in you, they will start treating your enterprise, they will start structuring or supporting your enterprise like a Tata, like a Reliance or a Mahindra. So as an enterprise, group enterprise, we were first into computer education, we diversified into real estate development, we further diversified into restaurants, we further diversified into e-commerce, we further diversified into hospitality business in resorts. Now why could we do all that? Because my education business gave me a customer base of more than 4.5 lakh students. When people experience you as an entrepreneur, they experience the products and services that you give them, they experience the promises that you made and the proof of the promises being delivered, and that bond which gets created to you structures your business on a very strong foundation. I am a firm believer that business can grow in 3 ways. The first way is by adding more customers. That everybody knows, even a kindergarten boy knows that by adding more customers your business grows. The second method is adding more products and services to your existing set of customers. That is very important. And the third method is the best method for business establishment and business growth, and that is doing both, adding new customers and adding more products and services to the business that you do. In these 3 ways, or the third way rather, you come across diversification, and that's where you leverage the most important word of everybody's life, and that is the experience, which when translated into a Hindi word is nothing but Tajurba. So I would like to congratulate Tajurba on the great work that they have done, and I welcome all the guests who have come not only from all across the city, the magical city of Mumbai, but also the powerful city of India, Delhi, and the other parts of the wonderful country that we live in, India. So congratulations on that, and congratulations Tajurba for doing what you have done, and kudos to the team, Anil and team and Parag, and who have worked relentlessly to make this show such a powerful show. I was just chatting with my very old and very dear friend Neeraj, who today leverages the infrastructure of LinkedIn to multiply the businesses that you have. And if you have multiple businesses but people don't know about it, or if you are having diversification happening and people don't know about it, then it is a secret that you know, and the business and the product that we do cannot be a secret, it needs to be known to all. Fortunately today, unlike 20, 30 years back, we have got platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, which can help us to multiply and magnify our efforts and help us to diversify our ideas or our businesses to the rest of the world. Neeraj was very brilliantly telling me on how LinkedIn, mastering the operations of LinkedIn and making it as a background tool for your growth can be so helpful, because the infrastructure of LinkedIn can't be bought. It will cost you billions of dollars, but you can use it like a subscriber, and with intelligent and creative thinking, you can definitely use LinkedIn as a backup support for all the diversification activities that you have. Diversification will ensure you one thing, that you will not be or never be written off of the business, irrespective of what happens to your current business. But diversification ensures you that all the people and customers that you have collected all your life as an entrepreneur will be kept back, will be leveraged with the new business activities that you might be getting activated with in the current scenario. So I would like to conclude my one-side communication monologue now, and I would love to have some questions from the audience so that I can connect with you directly and I can make sure that you are awake. So can we all clap for Tajurba? The idea of clapping is, there are 3 benefits of clapping. It improves your blood circulation. Secondly, it makes sure that you are not sleeping after such a wonderful lunch. And thirdly, it makes double sure that the person sitting next to you is also awake. So that's the objective. I'm sure for me and for my next speaker also, it's going to be a difficult task for people being interactive, but I would like to begin this by interactive session, if you can have questions to me. Yes.
In diversification, as we all know that you have diversified. You have a diversified business, like real estate in beautiful white villas in Shahpur. Apart from that, restaurants, the Sante in Khar, and you are launching your school business. How do you focus and manage on all of these businesses at the same time? How do you run it? How do you make it? How do you make sure that each and every business runs successfully?
Okay, so it is simple. For diversification, friends, you need to invest into entrepreneurs. So rather than hiring employees, become partners with entrepreneurs and then help them, monitor them, guide them, mentor them, open up your resource books to them and make them flourish. You can also open up the customer base that you have so that they can flourish. You don't have to have the knowledge of every business that you want to diversify in, but you need to have a liking to that. You need to have a passion to that. If you are passionate about something, become a passionpreneur. And if you have missed out some businesses that you didn't do, identify entrepreneurs who are successful in doing that, collaborate with them, partner with them, invest in them, and then support them for growth. So this way, you can do multiple businesses. So whether if I'm into the school business, I've partnered with Lina Asher. Lina Asher is the lady who brought international quality education in India, the Kangaroo Kids and Billabong brand lady. The best lady that I've known in my life as far as K-12 education is concerned. If I'm into restaurants, I don't know how to operate a restaurant, but I know how to do business. I know what is customer relationship. I know what is customer satisfaction. I know what is value creation for a customer. So in that business, I invested in a friend of mine, a partner of mine, Sonal Barmecha, by far the best lady in the country, where she has developed a fantastic vegan, vegetarian, healthy food brand, which has got sattvic options by the name of Sante. You must have not heard this, but people fly into Pune to eat at Sante. The people that I desire to meet once in a lifetime, such people dine at Sante thrice in a week, whether it is the Poonawala's or whether it is Rahul Bajaj or Rajiv Bajaj. Rahul Bajaj, unfortunately, we have lost, the country has lost a brilliant entrepreneur. But whether it is Rajiv Bajaj or whether it is the Goenkas or the Deshpandes of Pune, all thrive into this place which is next to Osho Ashram. So what basically I do as a businessman who is into diversification, I identify the best teams, I identify the best entrepreneurs, I invest in them and I join my resources to their existing setups and empower them to walk the journey of growth faster. So that's the formula for expansion and diversification. You don't have to be a champion in every diversification that you know, that you want to do, but you need to identify the champion and partner with them. Yes, gentlemen.
Yeah, so I've eaten at Sante and I'm very lucky because it's very close to my house. So congratulations for that. And a question that I wanted to ask is, people are still stuck with the conventional way of marketing and going for that business. So what is your advice to people, because unless they change, it becomes very difficult?
So change is imminent. The only constant that all of us need to be doing is change, and that change is empowering your business with technology. No more can you be having liberal budgets for advertising and marketing, because customer acquisition cost, irrespective of the businesses that you do, is going to be critically important. If your customer acquisition cost is beyond the means of the business absorption, as far as your profitability is concerned, it's going to be difficult. You can control your customer acquisition cost if you use the technology platforms and technology aggregators to create customers for you and then service them and make them happy. There are many multiple platforms which can bring customers to you. You need to be a master of the product that you're delivering or the service that you're delivering. It is going to be very difficult for you to do a turnaround activity for your business. If you're a product provider or a service provider, you need to get an expert who can bring business and customers to you. You can't have both the expertise together. So collaboration again is very critical part. Choices that we make in life will decide who we will become. So you need to choose the right partners, you need to choose the right products, you need to choose the right services, you need to choose the right team, you need to make your employees as partners in progress. There are no employees anymore. You need to have an employee with a minimum salary so that he can sustain his livelihood. At the same time, you need to give him the vision that he will grow along with the growth of the organization. So that's critically important. You need to make your employees as partners in progress. One successful formula that I personally believe in for diversification specifically is, instead of investing in employees, start investing in the best entrepreneurs that you can identify. Also, you need to be wise enough and smart enough in the sectors that you want to invest, expand and diversify. In every sector there is business growth, but with whom you partner is critically important. Sachin Tendulkar kiske team mein hai na, wo important hai. So you have to identify the Sachin Tendulkars. You can become the coach and make sure that the aggregate team together wins every game that they play. So we'll take 2 more questions and I'm close to my 20-minute slot. So I'll take 2 more questions and conclude. Yes, gentlemen.
diversification from one industry to another industry. This is only after the consolidation of the previous industry, or at any time we can diversify?
Diversification can happen anytime for any industry. There can be a correlation of what you do, or there can be no correlation in what you do at all. I was into the education business. There was no connection between education and real estate development. There was no correlation between education and restaurant. But suddenly वो मुझे dialogue business करने के बाद पता चला, रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान. I am into all three businesses today, but that has happened coincidentally. Roti, kapda or makan. And education. I added the fourth element for my word, that is education. So today, because of the current scenario, we have launched an online school called Corroboree Online School, where qualification and education, the education that we will provide to every student will be better than IB, but IB education is 15 lakhs and 20 lakhs and 30 lakhs. This education with the help of technology online will be available at a fraction of a cost at 52,000 rupees. You need to rethink, you need to define, you need to redefine, and you need to create a new scenario. That's what Swamiji also said in the morning. But rethinking and redefining is critically important. You see the opportunity, and if you can tap into that opportunity, you need to diversify. The objective is, when you diversify, the market needs to be ready-made. You cannot diversify and create a market. There needs to be a market, there needs to be a customer who can cover up your basic operating cost, and then you diversify and establish yourself into a new business segment or a new business scenario. Any last question?
Hello. Yeah, Rajesh, I've heard your presentation. It's, utmost impressive in terms of powerfully describing the diversification concept. I would like to touch upon and seek your, that turning point. What made you to, I know, and St. Angelo's as an education brand all these years. But then what triggered this diversification story for you?
Okay.
At what time?
Very touchy question, but I am grateful and thankful to Income Tax Department. In 2003, Income Tax Department slapped a case on my company when I converted my proprietary company into a limited company. I got goodwill in return. Chartered accountant Mr. Anil Goel will be well accustomed with what I am saying. And the penalty was so I got shares worth 5 crore 25 lakhs in the year 2000. My chartered accountant claimed depreciation on that goodwill, and because of that, the Income Tax Department after 3 years woke up, served a notice on me and told me, you cannot claim depreciation on goodwill. And they slapped such large amounts of penalties. And the amount was so huge that in 2003, paying that kind of amount, I would have had to sell my cars and my house also, and still I wouldn't have been able to pay that amount. So that got me into real estate. So diversification, that was a diversification which happened out of compulsion. कि हमको स्कूल में सिखाई गया था ना कि ये लाइन को बिना मिटाए छोटी कैसे बना सकते हो, तो उसके बाजू में लंबी लाइन ड्रॉ करो. So I drew the longer line. Real estate happened in 2004 onwards. और बाद में जीवन में ऐसा समय आ गया कि वो इनकम टैक्स का केस और वो पेनल्टी इतनी छोटी लगने लगी कि अकाउंट्स डिपार्टमेंट में स्टैंडिंग इंस्ट्रक्शंस देकर रखा था मैंने कि अगर इनकम टैक्स ने फिर से नोटिस कुछ निकाली तो पेमेंट भर देना, मुझे पूछना भी मत, सिग्नेचर लेके पे ऑफ कर दो. दैट अमाउंट बिकेम टू स्मॉल. फ्रेंड्स, I won that case. After 15-17 years, I won that case. And in India, in our country today, the reference case is depreciation on goodwill. If you Google depreciation on goodwill in the Google, you will see St. Angelo's Computers Limited as the precedent. So we fought the case, we won the case, but I am grateful and thankful to Income Tax Department that they made me compulsorily diversify, and then I saw the magic. The goodwill that we earned in the business of education, we could leverage it in the business of real estate development. And then the magic began. Once you know the game, how to play it, life is a game. You need to know how to play it. And every game has a different set of rules. If you play football, you have to kick the ball, you can't pick the ball. If you have to play throw ball, you can't kick the ball, you have to pick the ball. If you know the game, if you know how to play it, if you know the rules well, then diversification is a very interesting and exciting game. It keeps you on your toes. It keeps you happy, it keeps you excited, it keeps you motivated, and it becomes a wealth creator for you. I have a very strong thought which says money in good hands builds the society. As entrepreneurs, all of us need to become very successful so that all the people directly and indirectly dependent on us need to flourish. And that can happen only if we diversify well, if we strategize ourselves well. Honesty today is no more a great quality. Honesty today is a compulsion. Being honest is not a great feature. Being honest is mandatory. That is what the Swamiji also says, that your ethics will define your future. So without compromising on the ethics, you don't have to compromise. The opportunities are too many. India is a world in a country. We don't have to depend on any other country. Within ourselves itself, the resources are so much that we can achieve growth which is unprecedented and never seen before. Now is the time, and I feel platforms like Tajurba is going to be a game changer for lots of entrepreneurs, all of you in the hall and all of the entrepreneurs in the country. I wish you all the best. Whatever happens, happens for the best. Every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. If you are facing any obstacle, be sure that you are going to win a lottery, and that obstacle is going to be your next game changer, probably your stepping stone into some diversification, like how I diversified to real estate. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a lovely life ahead. Thank you.